I think it is trying to keep up with the Joneses, and the Joneses are the Dodgers.
But first, before we get into the content, folks, we'd like to encourage you to join the conversation in the comments down below. While you're down there, consider subscribing to Major League DNA, and make sure you smash that like button for your boy AJ right over there.
Do it.
All right, man. So, AJ, you're a Braves fan.
I am.
Yeah, so the Atlanta Braves, led by the GM, Alex Anthopoulos, aggressively signed their young core talent players to long-term contract extensions early in their careers.
Yes.
Right? Often before or during their first couple of years, before they're even arbitrarily eligible. The strategy's proven for different reasons there, and this is something that the Braves have been doing for quite a long time. I think you have a couple examples of this.
Oh, we got multiple examples, too. And it's funny because I don't think I realized that they'd done that with this many players. So in 2019, the Braves signed 2 players to long-term contracts before they hit arbitration. That was Ronald Acuna Jr., that's Mr. Stolen bases equals MVP, and then Ozzie Albies. So Acuna in 2019 signed an 8-year deal worth $100 million. That's 1 year after this guy comes into the league. And then they signed Ozzie Albies to a 7-year deal worth $35 million. Ozzie's 21 when he signs this contract, right? So he's only been in the league a couple years. Fast forward a couple years, 2022, they trade for Matt Olson and then sign him to an 8-year contract worth $168 million, which was the largest in Braves history in 2022. They bought out his arbitration years, obviously a few of his extension years with that contract, signing him through 2030. Then they do the same thing with Spencer Strider that year, sign him to a 6-year, $75 million contract with an option for his 7th year, which would make his total contract value $92 million. At that time, the largest contract for a pitcher with less than 1 year of service time. 2023, the Braves at it again. Austin Riley loses his arbitration case.
Okay, well, this is different. He made it to arbitration, though.
Made it to arbitration. He loses it, and then the Braves go on to sign him to a 10-year, $212 million extension. You guessed it, largest contract in team history at that time, 1 year later.
You guys had Freddie Freeman on your team. All these contracts should not have been the biggest when you got a guy like Freddie Freeman on your team.
Yeah. And then they signed Michael Harris to an 8-year, $72 million contract. So the Braves got a bunch of these players, and it's all their core players too. That's who you're watching. And these are the players you love to watch. Like as a Braves fan, I mean, Ozzie Albies been great, but you can feel more of these contracts coming. I mean, they got Drake Baldwin right now, who just won National League Rookie of the Year. He's got one of these big contracts coming.
Next year.
I mean, they're going to sign him to a 10-year, $150 million contract or whatever it turns out to be. And they've done it so smart because they front load all these contracts where they're paying them $7-8 million a year for their first couple of years, and then they slowly gross it up, and then by the time they're done with it, they pay them $23 million,
which would be so far below market value. It's insane.
Ridiculously below market value at that point. I mean, that Ozzie Albies contract, that feels like you stole him for that.
If I was Ozzie Albies, I would have said no to that contract. 100%. 2 years of arbitration, and you make that entire contract when you were the best second baseman in baseball. The reason why I brought this up and the reason why I asked you to kind of go through that is there's obvious reasons why they do this, right? The strategy for this is basically giving that team cost certainty and guaranteed financial security for the players.
Yep.
You know, when they're young, they don't know if they're going to make it to arbitration healthily, and if they do, you know, are they going to win or are they going to lose? Like, how well are they going to be playing this way? That money is guaranteed. But really for the owners, it kind of, and the teams themselves, it lets them know these are what we have on the books for the next 10 years. And we know when these players are becoming eligible, we're going to be getting them to steal. What we've been seeing over the last couple of years, AJ, is like this is getting really crazy.
Yeah.
So we got Jackson Chourio, December of 2023. He signed an 8-year, $82 million contract, which is the largest ever given to a player before he's ever made a debut. Right? So Jackson Chourio, before he ever made a debut with the Brewers, signed an 8-year, $82 million contract. Set a record. And then you had Colt Emerson from the Seattle Mariners. He signed an 8-year contract back in March, worth $95 million a year, despite having 0 days of service time in Major League Baseball. Cooper Pratt from Milwaukee Brewers also signed in March 2026. He secured an 8-year, $50 million deal. Not great.
That's an Ozzie Albies contract, man.
Yeah, so you're kind of wondering what's going on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
One that jumped out to me the most was recently by the Pittsburgh Pirates. These guys have Paul Skeens on their team.
Yeah.
Reigning Cy Young Award winner. But no, they give Konnor Griffin. He signed a 9-year, $140 million contract before he ever made his MLB debut. And then today, we had Kevin McGonigle, the professor. For those of you who know, you know. 17 games into his MLB career. signing an 8-year, $150 million deal with the Detroit Tigers. There
It
is
is.
so much of this. Now, again, like we talked about, there's cost certainty and savings for the teams, right? There's reasons why they do this. But to me, man, none of that explains why this is happening so much this season. Is it just the impending lockout that everybody's talking about for why we're seeing so much of this year?
I think lockout has something to do with it, and I think it is trying to keep up with the Joneses, and the Joneses are the Dodgers.
Okay.
I mean, you think about that though. Like what they're trying to do is lock up players early, get them under team control for as long as they can. All of these teams are making their bets early, pushing the chips in, locking them down, because if you push them in and you win, you reap the rewards, right? And if not, how much risk is there really for a team when you've got a player that's on a $5 million a year AAV contract? At the contract, it's $17 million. Obviously, there's a little bit more risk there. They've obviously proven something to you in 12 games or whatever that might be. I think it's good. I think them doing this with these players, it helps players know that they can go out there, play in 10 games, and win a life-changing contract.
Yeah, and some of these prospects that aren't even in the league, haven't been to the league yet and signed these contracts, they have a slow start, doesn't matter. They're guaranteed their money anyway.
Exactly.
You know, so they're not really going to worry about that. You want to hear my conspiracy theory on this one?
I would love to.
I think this is a play by the owners to reset the market. If all the future talent is underneath guaranteed contracts where everybody's making less than $20 million a year, when that next contract comes up and they're making, you know, they're like, oh, now we're going to pay you $45 million a year instead of the $60 million a year these players are getting now. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to say, hey, we're going to give you some money up front.
It's a great point, though.
Your next contract where you sign for another like 8 years and your AAV is $40 million. That's pretty good, right? That's a $200 million contract.
But also you reset the arbitration too.
Yeah, because it'd be based off of cost
I think
per
it's a
war.
good point. Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly think that's what's going on here. Because the CBA is going to come in, something's going to change about it, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to reset the market, I think. And players aren't going to say no to $100 million before they even enter the majors.
Absolutely not.
I don't know who would.
No.
You know, it would take somebody like a Juan Soto or a Ohtani or a Judge to be like, yeah, no, I'm going to free agency. This is, I'm that good. I know it.
Yeah.
You know, it's very interesting, man. To me, I think that there's a lot going on here, more than meets the eye here, that there's a lot of this going on this season in particular. And I think there's reasons behind it. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
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 Thanks again for watching, folks. As a reminder, we'd like to encourage you to join the conversation in the comments down below. While you're down there, consider subscribing to Major League DNA if this is the content that you enjoyed. And also smash that like button for your boy AJ right over there.
Do it.